There we go. But Shalom Israel, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah, to the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Latah, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, to the sisters. This is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. And we started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership of Commander General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching that Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are God's chosen people. The children of Israel. They're the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So we got a topic that's going on in Israel right now today. Gang culture is dead. So you got a lot of hip hop artists that's on a movement called The Streets is Dead. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that's from the streets is taking it offensive. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go over it today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go over the self-destruction of it. You know what I'm saying? Because no good comes from it. Best friends turn into enemies. You know what I'm saying? People you look up to, you end up starting to look down on them. You know what I'm saying? There's no loyalty in it. And then everybody seeks that when they walk into it. You know what I'm saying? And they walk out of it with more scars. You know what I'm saying? So we're in an era now where crime, despite what the media says, crime is down, knowledge is increased on the earth. The Black man is waking up to some kind of awareness. You know what I'm saying? So they have crafty ways to make us commit crime. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go over one of them today. Of course, one of them is the music industry. Of course, one of them is gang culture, the streets. Of course, they use all forms of avenue. Hollywood. They got many ways to get you to commit crime against your home. You know what I'm saying? And it's dead. It's dead. Matter of fact, let me start it off with this. This is how you know it's dead. Because all my so-called Black Christians, right? Y'all believe in Christ. Y'all believe in the Bible. This is why it's dead. And this is why we're against Christianity in the ISUPK, because in Christianity, you can still gangbang. You can gangbang and go get that Jesus head and put it on your head, around your neck. You can gangbang, go get that cross and tattoo it right in your neck. You know what I'm saying? So, if y'all have trouble with my audio, just let me know too. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 35. This is why, Christ's response is the reason why gang culture has to die. You know what I'm saying? This is why it has to die, because you can't serve Christ and serve your gang. You can't. You can't serve Christ and go slide on the ops. You can't do that. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 35. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, so the same way they ask you questions about this truth, the same way they ask you questions about what you and your brothers is doing, it's the same way they ask Christ. But sometimes they're not asking you to be genuine. You'll know, you got a spirit of discernment. You'll know when a brother genuine. You'll know when they asking you this, trying to tempt you. You know what I'm saying? So they asked him a question, tempted him, and they said, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Remember, almost 90% of Christ's debates, battles, discussions was over the law. This is why it's just stupid for you to come to the conclusion that you don't got to keep it. It's just dumb. Well, we can argue over whether terms or whatever terms you want to say, fulfill, we can't fulfill, it's done away, the old covenant, the new covenant. But for Christ to battle about the law as much as he did, and for you to read these stories and come to the conclusion that you don't have to keep it and do it is diabolical and extremely wicked. It's extremely wicked. Because think about it. Who wants to be lawless? We're on the topic of gang culture, right? Who wants to be lawless? You know what I'm saying? And this is not a Black thing, a white thing, you know what I'm saying, a Hispanic thing. This is not an Indian thing. It's not a Chinese thing. This is just a people thing. Who would want to be lawless? Let me give you the answer. A criminal. A criminal wants to be lawless. Want to know why? Because he wants to break the law. So for you to come to the conclusion that you don't have to keep the commandments, when Christ is fighting for the commandments, he's fighting for them. Every time they ask him, tempting him, yeah, they tempted him about. I need to do a specific class just on that. How many times he was tempted and questioned about the law? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Stop thinking like criminals. You know what I'm saying? And think like a law-abiding citizen. You a law-abiding citizen in America, right? You follow all the laws in America, right? Treat God's laws like they're America's laws. Don't run no stop signs, no red lights. Don't kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? Don't steal from nobody, rob nobody, burglarize nobody. You can do it. And for those who say that it can't be done, you wicked as hell too. Like, what law do you have to break? Like, do you have to steal? You have to commit crime? Come on now. They tempting Yahushua, saying, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Watch how you cut it. Yahushua said unto them, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. You gotta love the Most High, man. And we know in 1 John chapter 5 and 3, this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. That's the love of God, that we keep the commandments. So he cutting them right now. Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Gang culture is done with just this verse right here. Because once you wake up to the truth, right, and you realize we've been tricked, like my son, Officer Nakawan in Louisiana, he got a song called Brotherhood is a Weapon. And in the song, he's like this. Then I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man lived to get old. We in the graves. Shit got me feeling played. You know what I'm saying? Like pay attention to what he said. He said this. He said, and then I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man lived to get old. We in the graves. Shit got me feeling played. Because that we was played. We have got tricked to think that a man that looks just like me, a man that comes from the same bloodline as me, a man that suffered the same trauma and oppression as me is my enemy. We was tricked. Let's see if any more of that. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Meaning, if you love God and you love your neighbor, every law falls under that. When it says hang on these two, like when it says these two commandments hang all the law, that means these two is up and the rest of the law follows. It doesn't mean you don't have to keep it, because if you love your neighbor as yourself, guess what? You ain't gonna commit adultery. You wanna know why? Because adultery is sleeping with another man's wife. You know what I'm saying? You would love him like yourself, you wouldn't do that. If you loved your neighbor like yourself, you wouldn't steal. If you loved your neighbor like yourself, you wouldn't worship a false god and bring the wrath of God upon all of you. Because if he worshiped a false god, we all getting punished. You forgot about that, right? You forgot about that part, huh? You know what I'm saying? Suffer not sin upon him. You know what I'm saying? Like the law is love. It's love for each other. You know what I'm saying? Don't murder that brother. Don't unalive that brother, man. It's against the law. Let him live. Forgive that brother, man. Show mercy on that brother. That's a part of the law. It's a lot good. But yeah, gang culture can't live with that alone, because you're going to have to show some love. And we black people, I'm not trying to hear it either, because I know we can show love. Want to know how I know we can show love? Because I see us do it for every other race of people. I see us forgive white people. I seen us forgive Chinese people. I seen a man, a Chinese man, Rick Chow, get found not guilty for killing one of ours. And black people who's supposed to boycott Asian businesses somehow found it in their hearts to forgive those Asians. It wasn't all of them. Some of them are good. That's black people. The Christian church did one thing. It showed you that you can love and that you can forgive. The problem is you want to love and forgive everybody else, but hate your people. And the only reason why you gotta hate black people is because the man who created the religion, Christianity, hates black people. So you can't be in tune with him if you don't. You can't be in tune with him if you don't hate black people. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get I'm gonna go through a little story too in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I did say I want to go through a lot of these stories because I want the relevance of it to hit home. And the church failed us with that. With reading these stories and letting it be relevant to black people today. Like you read these stories in church and they make it just so like it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Chinese people can relate to this too. No, you relate this to the people in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? So before that, we're gonna get a little history on gangs in America.
Insurrection by hoodlums. Civil rights leaders were quick to deplore the unbridled lawlessness, and Martin Luther King vowed to do all in his power to prevent a recurrence.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the complex history of African American gangs in America. This narrative spans decades and intertwines with significant socio-economic and political changes. Let's explore how these gangs emerged, evolved, and impacted communities.
Hold on real quick. Intertwined with socio-economical. You know what I'm saying? Socio-economic, social and economics. Like gang culture not only affect how we deal with each other, it affect our money. It affect how we make money. And then something happened in Syracuse a couple of weeks ago with the Arabs or whatever. It's a little tension between the Arabs and the so-called blacks, the so-called Negro. And they run everything that's economical around us. And we have no parts in it except to be the consumers, except to be the customer. We're the customer in all aspects, all around us. Gas, food, weed, liquor, cigarettes. We the customer. You know what I'm saying? Because gang culture, it ultimately destroyed our economics. And he's selling now.
Our story begins in the early 20th century with the Great Migration. Between 1916 and 1970, over 6 million African Americans moved from the rural South to urban centers in the North and West, seeking better opportunities and escaping Jim Crow laws. In cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Los Angeles, these migrants faced new challenges. They encountered segregation, limited job opportunities, and overcrowded, under-resourced neighborhoods.
So we do know that to be true. And in some cases, in some situations, in some stipulations, we still do suffer from those things. After the Great Migration, just to fill you with them, the Great Migration is when black people, after slavery, we decided to go from the South to spread out all over, to go to the North, to go to the Midwest, to go to the West in search of opportunity, really in search of jobs. Everything for us was about a job. That's how you know we never was really free. It was never about actually establishing something for our nation, for us to become a nation. It was always about work. How can we work and feed our family? Because we was destroyed on that slave plantation. That's a fact. We was destroyed for hundreds of years. They would not have let us free if we was capable of banding together and creating something that was ours. Like that slave plantation did a number on black people, and you can see the trickles of it today. It also did a number on white people. White people are inherently racist. That it don't come from because they wake up and say they want to hate black people. They hate black people because they were the slave masters. You know what I'm saying? They got a long line of history of slave masters and being better than black people. And you got a long history of being a slave and being lesser than white people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember How High when he was like this. Mike Epps was the pimp. He said, man, I come from a long line of pimps. And saying you come from a long line of assistant pimps. Meaning that I'm gonna always be a pimp and you're gonna always be an assistant pimp. That's slavery. The white man is still the slave master today. He just have a different industry, different ways he do it. But that slavery did a number on us. Once we left, man, we could not function properly. We was just trying to work. And then trying to work, we was oppressed. You know what I'm saying? We were put into situations where, listen, a lot of us had to go into the factories. A lot of us had to go straight to the factories, straight to the plantations, straight or anywhere they had hiring. And the same thing happens today. Like in Syracuse, Micron is in Syracuse. Black people is in heaven because we got a job now. You know what I'm saying? We got an 81 project. Black people is in heaven because we can work. Hispanic people in heaven. Let me work. That is slavery and oppression. And this ain't new. It been happening. It's just gradually taking effect because of technology and because of the way they want to do things. Now it's like you're looked down on if you don't want to work. And don't get me wrong, I don't agree that a man should not work. I do feel like a man should work, but I also feel like you should work for something that's yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you putting in 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, it should be for something that you building, that your descendants could benefit from. It shouldn't be so their kingdom could thrive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we work for them so they can keep this running. You know what I'm saying? And that's a different mentality. So I think.
This environment laid the groundwork for the emergence of gangs. Initially, African American social clubs formed for mutual support and protection against racial hostility.
So
However, as
initially they band together for mutual support and for protection against racial hostility. You know what I'm saying? Like the white man is violent. He's violent. The only way we could even defend ourselves. Remember, we only did it for protection. We did it for protection against them because they are the natural gang members. You know what I'm saying? Remember, they've been gang banging since they came over here. The Union, the Confederacy, the Democrats, the Republicans, they just gonna gang bang. The British, you know what I'm saying? The British, America, they gonna gang bang no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And while they're gang banging, they're like this. Who they gang banging on? Each other and us. So we like this. Man, we gonna have to band up and do something.
economic disparities grew and police protection remained inadequate, some of these groups began to turn towards more organized forms of self-defense and eventually criminal activity.
So some of these groups came from a more organized approach for self-defense, like the Black Panthers. But this also led to what? Criminal activity. Want to know why? Want to know why it led to criminal activity? We didn't have this. It led to criminal activity because we didn't have the law. We didn't have the law to say you shouldn't commit crime. We didn't have this. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, thou shalt not do these things. But seeing that the law is done away with, hey, shit, look, we gonna get some cocaine? What we gonna do? Get some weed, some heroin, some guns? If you haven't, if you haven't, tonight, go watch Judas and the Black Messiah. These brothers, mind you, they wasn't even thinking about crime, really. The man who was working with the police was trying to get them to commit crime so the police can have a reason to kill them. Come on now. You gotta think. They're crafty. It's different. It's hard for us to fathom it because black people is real straightforward. Like the scripture said, Jacob was a real plain man, simple man, dwelling in tents. He just chilled. He like to chill, man. He wasn't too difficult. You ain't gonna come up with many different ways to go around something. Black people, we like to face it. You know what I'm saying? We like to face it. You ever heard the term "we can't hold water"? It's an old Southern term for our grandparents. They can't hold water. Meaning, you tell them something, they're going to tell somebody. As soon as they find out, and they're going to tell somebody, and they're going to tell somebody. That's just how we are. We don't keep a secret and sit there and figure out ways to destroy a group of people. If black people had a secret plan to destroy white people would know about it tonight. If black people had a secret plan to overthrow white people would know about it tonight. But it's not so, vice versa. White people secretly hate you. They'll wait decades to destroy you. They'll wait. I'm going to prove it. I got a video. I'm going to prove it. They'll wait.
Post-World War II. America saw African American communities continuing to struggle for civil rights. The 1950s and 60s were a time of both hope and turmoil. The civil rights movement sought justice and equality, but economic disparities and systemic racism persisted. In this context, gangs like the Blackstone Rangers in Chicago and the Slossons in Los Angeles emerged. These gangs initially formed as protection against racial violence and to provide a sense of identity and belonging. However, as time passed, their activities often turned to crime, influenced by the limited economic opportunities available to them. The 1970s and 80s brought significant changes. Deindustrialization hit urban areas hard, leading to high unemployment and poverty. The introduction of crack cocaine in the 1980s exacerbated these issues, leading to a surge in gang activity and violence. African American gangs became deeply involved in the drug trade.
So the 80s changed the whole ballgame with the introduction of crack cocaine. Gang culture really thrived because now guess what we're doing? We're clicking up to fight over territory to sell the drugs. I'm selling over here, you selling over there. Eventually, I want to sell over there. I want to sell over there. And guess who's behind it all? Another show. A show. It ain't, you can't watch it in the night. Watch Snowfall. Watch Snowfall. See how that crack cocaine not only did slavery. I'm a witness to this because my mother, she smoked crack cocaine my whole life. Barakataya Hawaii outside. She 3 years clean. You know what I'm saying? Get them both side. She 3 years clean. She smoked crack cocaine my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And she'll tell me sometimes like this, you don't understand. When that crack came, it took your soul. Everybody, hard-working, parents, young, all that, dead overnight, turning to straight zombies. Watch Snowfall. You'll see it. You'll see it. That crack cocaine did a number on black people. It did a number on black people. And ultimately led us to where we at now, as far as like our addiction, you know what I'm saying? The way we handle things, trauma. Because a lot of us, we are the generation, we are the children of the generation that was introduced to crack. Let me say that again. We are the children of the generation that was introduced to crack. It affects all of us. We was raised by crackheads. You know what I'm saying? 80% of us was raised third party by a grandparent, a granddad, a grandma. Because we couldn't, our parents, man, listen, my mom said this, that shit was so strong. There was no way you could smoke it and be functional. No way. You know what I'm saying? And then now the gangs thrive. Boom. Now you putting money in poor people's pockets without them having to go work for the white man. So now you got people like Frank Lucas. You got people like Rick Ross. You got people like Big Meech and everybody that feel like they can make an empire off of this. Mind you, the government deemed it unlawful. So now you're going to jail. you're going to jail. You sell that cocaine, you're going to jail. You pick up that gun, gangbang against your brothers, you're going to jail for a crime that wasn't even created for black people. The RICO law was not even created for black people. The RICO law was created for white people. You never see them get hit with it today. Never. We get hit with it like as if we a Fortune 500 corporation. Good night. Slide you.
Further entrenching them in a cycle of to a surge in gang activity and violence, African involved in the drug trade, further entrenching them in a cycle of crime and poverty. The emergence of African American gangs in America is a story of resilience and struggle, shaped by a history of migration, economic hardship, and the fight for civil rights. By acknowledging and understanding this history, we can better address the issues that persist and work towards a future where all communities thrive.
And work for a future where all communities thrive. Like, it's another thing. This is a sidebar real quick, right? This is a sidebar, right? Officer Kaltazar, I'm going to see if I can find it. Officer Kaltazar got this breakdown about, and it's so immaculate too. It's a breakdown about how we're being brainwashed to fight for our own success. So, for instance, when you think about Superman joined the white man to fight against his own people. Optimus Prime joined the white man to fight against his own. Who else? Who else he said? I forgot, Salaki. But he brought up another story. But I just watched the movie last night. I don't want to spoil it. Avatar. And the same thing. They joined the white man to fight against their own. And it's something, it was like no white man thing because it's an anime or whatever, but it's something that they kept saying, and it just kept going through my mind, like, why are they trying to push this so much? They kept saying all nations. You know, and I don't know if y'all know about Avatar, but they got the Fire Nation, the Water Nation, the Earth Nation, and the Air Nation. The Air Nation was completely wiped out to the point where there's none of them left. It's only one. So they trying to rebuild the Air Nation. So they trying to have world peace where all people, all nations can thrive. Not just one people, all people. They kept saying it. They had to say it like 50 times. That's the Christian church. Because this man in this video, and it was a good video, but out of all he just said, that he ended it with, we need to come to a solution where all communities can thrive. And this is why we have to throw away religion. We have to, because it makes you stupid. Because you took all the facts, right? You got all the history, you got all the everything, and you come to the conclusion that you want all communities to thrive? What about justice? You don't want what happened to your people and the people who've done it to face a punishment? Like that's too long. That's too wrong in your mind for them to be punished. Maybe they shouldn't have a nation. Maybe they should go into captivity for the crimes that they did. I was talking to Edomite my slave. He walked up, and they keep doing this too. Shalom on Christ. I don't want y'all watching now. Shabbat thumb. Shalom Triple J. And saying y'all watching Shabbat thumb. So they keep saying this, right? All this long people, all nation stuff. All right, boom. Edomite my slave, and they always do this too. Walk up and interrupt the conversation, which is one, extremely rude, because we're black people having a conversation about black people. And then here comes white people. But he kept hearing the term Edomite, Edom, Esau. So he like, yeah, I know a little about the Bible. What's up with Esau? I said, yeah. So yeah, he like, what you know? I'm like, what you know about Esau? He's like, oh, I know God hates him. So, we laugh, a couple brothers, and everybody at the slave know the truth too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody at the slave know we Israel, they Esau, you know what I'm saying? Everybody at the slave. You can't be around us and the truth for too long without you knowing the truth. You know what I'm saying? I was just telling bro at my slave, I got childhood friends. When they see me, they do the salute. You know what I'm saying? Because this thing right here is bigger than us. This thing right here is actually breaking what they did to us. You know what I'm saying? So the Edomite like this, yeah, I know about Esau or whatever. I'm like, all right, so you know the crimes that Esau committed against his brother Jacob, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what should you think should happen to Esau for the crimes he committed against his brother Jacob? So he's like, yeah, well, God said he's gonna destroy him. I'm like, no. I ain't talking about what God said. What do you think? Like, I think he should he should be punished for the things he did. So I said, all right, what should happen to white people for the things they did to black people? He said, I don't get it. What you saying? What should God do to white people for the things they did to black people? I asked you believe in equality, right? Yeah, equality. Everybody should be treated fair. I said, so we served 500, 600, 700 years in slavery, right? What would be the equal thing for white people to serve? He said, yeah, about the same, or double. I said, oh, or what? He said, or double. I said, now you in the spirit. Because the scripture said, reward her double, even as she rewarded you. You know what I'm saying? And he's scratching his head trying to figure out how could I compare Jacob and Esau to white people and black people today. And he just walked off. Of course, one of the coons of the slave ran up to him to tell him, Jesus loves you no matter what. It doesn't matter. Jesus still loves you. I asked the brother, so what you went up there and said to me? No, we was just talking about something else. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about that religion, Christianity, it never wants to see just black people thrive. It hates it. Mind you, Christ, you know what I'm saying, Yahushua came to restore Israel. I'm going to pull that real quick. He came to restore Israel. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is, when? That's the big question, when? The question ain't why. The question is when. Because everyone knows why. Why would Israel need to be restored? Because they were destroyed. I'll get this real quick. Because you follow Christ, right? But you not for the restoration of the children of Israel. So this is the book of Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? That was the whole purpose. To restore the kingdom to Israel. So for you to want everybody to be restored, you just being stupid. How can everybody be restored? Everybody's not destroyed right now. The children of Israel are destroyed, and they need to be restored. And you know what helped destroy us? The so-called white man. He destroyed us. The scripture said this, and thou has been behind all manner of mischief against us. All. Every problem that the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American man had, when you trace it all back, it stems back to white people. It does. Every problem. So why would you want them to thrive? This man said, after all that good old stuff, that why can't we come up with a solution where all communities could thrive? Man, we in the ISUPK, we about black supremacy. You know what I'm saying? We about black, Hispanic, and Native American supremacy. Don't care what these other nations do. Because when Christ comes back, they're going to buy. They're not going to be heirs with Christ. And he shared you can have America, you can have Great Britain, you can have Iraq, Iran, y'all can have your countries. I just want my little people. Christ is coming to make war against all nations and snatch crowns off all of their heads. So what we got to do is this. Black people, we have to wake up from deep sleep and realize we are the children of Israel. And Barak Atah Yahweh Yahushai took command of General Hana, the captains, the officers, the generals, of course, sisters, the troopers, because it's not so hard to convince a brother to Israel now. It's not that hard. It's very, very, and Trump making it real easy for a brother to know he Yasha Allah. Yasha Allah is how you originally say Hebrew. I mean Israel, and Hebrew. Now I'm gonna drop that. We're gonna get this video real quick. I might skim through some of it. I really want to play the whole thing. If I got enough time to play the whole thing, I will. This is a secret meeting. I'm saying that was held about hip hop. I know some of y'all probably seen this or whatever, but now we're gonna approach this. This is my disclaimer. We're gonna approach this like the Willie Lynch letter. So if y'all don't have any history on the Willie Lynch letter, there's actually no proof that Willie Lynch ever existed. You know what I'm saying? It's actually theorized that he never existed. But they do the same thing with the Bible. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this like this. Is what's being said here true? Did the slave master do to the slave what Willie Lynch said in that letter? Did that really happen? And that's how we're gonna approach this. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the scriptures, we're gonna stamp that. Everything in here, we're gonna go for that. But anything else, listen, you could take it like however you want to take it. But look at the facts. Did this happen? You know what I'm saying? And, we're gonna go over it. It's like I'm trying not to be long-winded. It's a passionate subject for me because, like, in my eyes, coming from where I come from, and it don't matter if you gangbang. It don't matter if you gangbang. It don't matter if you was active in the gang. It don't matter if you never been to prison. It don't matter. You was around it. You could not be black and avoid it. You couldn't. Even if you was black and you grew up around white people, you were looked at as you should know about it because you're black. It's your culture. You know what I'm saying? So these things I'm very passionate about. And to see the way it plays out, man, the white man is the devil. What else can you say? He is the adversary. The adversary. I mean, capital THE. He's the adversary. He's totally against us. No man, no nation, no race of people will come up with the conclusion that we about to see in this video unless you were totally against these people. I'm gonna let it play.
The secret meaning that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell a story.
we gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not just playing.
Look, that black man.
So look, so he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless.
So now, and we wonder where IUIC get it from. That's just a little shot. But now they signed an NDA. An NDA, if you don't know, is a non-disclosure agreement, meaning that whatever happens here stays here. And if you violate these terms, then we can legally seek repercussions or consequences. You can get whatever consequence it is. I don't know the consequence, but I guess it's a legal consequence which you can face from violating an NDA. That's why you got your signature on it, whatever. But they signing these. You think about joining IUIC, you gotta sign one of those too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta sign an NDA. You can't get out.
To say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about.
Oh, Salaki, that was one of the violations. You violate these terms of this NDA, you're fired immediately. Immediately. You know the black man. The black man love his damn job. Just talked about it earlier. The black man love a damn job. Like the scriptures say this, Israel, are you a homeborn slave? You know what I'm saying? Was you made to be a servant? Salakia. Were you made to be a slave? They ain't tell this story for 20 years because they was afraid to lose their job. Good night.
About and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now, it's going to get to the good part of the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, G.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No,
Real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable in the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one.
Now, these men that's in this meeting are people who own prisons privately. Meaning it's not downtown, it's not your Justice Center, it's not your I don't know whatever city y'all in, but in Syracuse, we got Jamesville, that's owned by the county, I believe. This is not public incarceration we're talking about. We're talking about privately owned prisons. What the hell they got to do with us? We rappers. We rappers. What the hell a private prison got to do with us? Because you got to remember, music at that time and age was 80, 90% non-criminal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you had the Ice Cubes and them, the NWA, you know what I'm saying, F the Police and all that, but many of them wasn't committing no crime. You know what I'm saying? Many of them was just rapping and talking politics, like political. You know what I'm saying? The Queen Latifahs, the Tribe Called Quest. It was real, like it was called conscious rap, where they rapping about being oppressed and getting out of it. You know what I'm saying? So what the prison got to do with it? That's why. This is gang culture. Like this is the what we know today as gangbanging.
Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
Now, and this is true. This is why I say we're gonna do it like the Willie Lynch, all that. This is true. This is true. It was a case. New York State was sued during COVID. During COVID, New York State was sued because the government had a contract with private prisons that said they're gonna keep the prison 95% full. It's called 95% occupancy, meaning it's gonna be occupied 95%. During COVID, crime fell. Police wasn't arresting people like that. They had fell to I think 91%. And the private prison companies took the state of New York to court for violating the contract and won. They won. I said, what? They won the case. The government have a contract with the private prison that they pay. The government pays these prisons by the inmate that it holds. So say a prison say, all right, we'll hold 6,000 inmates. The government come up with a price. We'll give you $400 a day or a week. Let's just say a week. We'll give you $400 a week for each inmate you hold. And the prison rakes up money. Mind you, the government is a part of funding for the government to keep crime out of the cities. So now they can just run their businesses while all the criminals get locked up. So the government look at that as it's very important. It's in the top priorities. We're going to spend billions and keep our cities good so we can make more billions. But that's not the only reason why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Good night. Good night.
The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
The more inmates, the more the government will pay. This is a fact. This is not lies. That's a fact. The government, it actually costs, the government pays the prison the amount of money it costs to send somebody to an Ivy League college. Like for instance, at the time I was in prison, it was like $45,000 a year to house one inmate. And it was $45,000 a year to go to SU that year. To go to Syracuse University, one of the top colleges in America. To go to Syracuse University costs the same amount to house a prisoner. Good night.
It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled.
It's in their interest that their prisons become filled, because want to know why? The people who own the private prisons is giving the funding to the record companies. So the record companies is doing this. I'll go to the ghetto because the record company is going in the ghetto. I don't care what you say, they go into the hood. and they're going to get the grimiest, dirtiest, poorest, brokest, nicest brother in the hood and giving them the bag. Giving him the bag. Well, this ain't $2 million. Brother never seen a quarter. And they're giving him this money. Where do you think this money coming from? What do you think? Because not only is they getting him, they going this city getting him, going to that city getting them. Where do you think they're getting millions and millions of dollars to keep signing these artists from? From what they call silent investors. People who putting money behind them and don't want to be talked about. Remember I told you, it could never be black people. Because black people will put money behind something and the whole world know. The whole world know. White people they different. They more subtle. They gonna put money behind something and sit back and watch it grow. So this man, it's in their interest that these prisons stay full.
Job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior. Rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague, who opened up the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, "It's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. No, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences." We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. "It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and this person later on, he said, you know, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. A few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he said he just, like, you know, over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality,
Over to
pulled it off.
Yeah.
They really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their
No
music.
positive.
He said they were told to not sign any more political rappers, anybody with messages in their rap. They were told to not sign them. Who are they signing with messages in their raps? Who? Who are they signing that's talking about the freedom and liberation of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Nobody. Everybody they signing is talking about crack, cocaine, perks, guns, murder, gangman, everybody. And then vice versa. Now they taking it to the women. Shaking your ass. You don't need a man. You can have multiple men. You know what I'm saying? Not ethnic free. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Sexy Red, Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion. Who are they signing with any type of positive influence on our people? None. So regardless if this meeting ever happened or not, what they're saying is true. To the point where now you got to make a choice if you decide to do music. What you doing it for? If you're doing it for money, you're gonna have to talk about guns, drugs, gang banging, killing, and compete with everybody else that's doing it. You think it's a coincidence that everybody's doing it? Everybody. Meek Mill, I wish I could pull it up too. Meek Mill had an interview, right? Where it was like, yo, we see you be like trying to be a little conscious, whatever, in your music. You're like, why we don't hear more of that from you? He like, the people don't want to hear that. He said, so I gotta dumb down the music for him. I gotta dumb it down. This is what he's saying. He's not talking about dumbing it down for the people. He's talking about dumbing it down for the man that's signing that check. The man that's signing that check don't want to hear you talking about black religious freedom, power, black power, freedom from religion, freedom from all types of mental and financial and economic slavery. You can't make no music about that, or you're going to struggle. But you try to sneak it out there, because they do try to do that too. Meek Mill's got a song called What's Free. You know what I'm saying? Try to sneak it out there. Jay-Z hopped on it. They not about the freedom of black people. You can't be. He said it. You can't be. Because they not signing you.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and put out.
So if you wonder where
And this
Brand
was
Nubians
before
went,
us.
if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Poor Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking,
Yeah.
even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those, you know
Everybody.
what I'm saying? It's a back door.
Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, you know, anything that had a message in it had to go.
Yeah, that's
You
why
know what
if
I'm
you
saying?
even notice though, now
And we talk about that all the time.
even be brief with it, you know what I'm saying? Those charms that came out like maybe in 1988, 89, the African charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely,
quickly.
definitely. Now, after reading all this, you know, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first of
So when you see now, like, remember, I don't know how old, I'm probably giving away my age. I'm up there. I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't had my age in, I'm in my 30s. But it never was cool to use drugs. Like, coming up, it never, like, I came up in the era where it changed. Like, I literally remember where it was always cool to sell drugs. Like, when I was 12, 13, it wasn't cool to use drugs. It was only cool to sell them. By the time I hit 16, 17, it's cool to use them now. You know what I'm saying? Gucci Mane had a song called this. It said this. Is you rolling? Is you rolling? Bitch, I might be. Bitch, I might be. Is you geeked up? Is you geeked up? Because now we listening to this like, oh, what's rolling? You know what rolling is? Rolling is when you pop an ecstasy pill. You know what I'm saying? And you're rolling now. Your mind is rolling. And this is mainstream media we seeing. You know what I'm saying? Mainstream, y'all think pop Molly Percocet or something? Is you rolling and come on now, all types of pill popping, syrup sipping songs was coming out from like 07, 06, 07, 08, 09, and now it ain't just enough to be the drug dealer. You got to be a drug user too. Now you got Kodak Black. You know what I'm saying? Now you got artists high as hell, Juice WRLD. They overdosing off of how much drugs they use. Like this true. Whether the meeting ever happened or not, the things that's being presented is true. They're signing men to literally say, Future said this, I don't even do no drugs. So what the hell you got a song called Molly Percocet for? If you don't do drugs. And when I say it's on the radio, it was on the radio. Molly Percocet. I didn't know what a Percocet was. That's a fact. That's 100 fact. I didn't know what a Percocet was. They just kept rapping about it, kept singing about it. Song after song after song after song. I'm like, damn. They just want to force you to take a Percocet. Because they know how music influences us. Like, we're very simple like that. We'll play a song or listen to a song long enough, and then it becomes our reality. That's why they push so much money behind it.
Emotion I felt was shocked, because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm saying? The second emotion I felt was anger. Anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it. Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the...
So the brother Ben Haben said, why do you think they want to destroy us for? It's simple, so they can keep being in power. As long as we're destroyed, they're in power. Remember, the white man he know who you is. Them Edomites, they know who you is. They know you the children of Israel. They know you the children of Judah, the children of Levi. They know you're the 12 tribes of Israel. They know it. And they know if you wake up and serve the Most High God and his son Yahweh Shai, that their kingdom is done. Even if they don't believe it, they know it. It's written. So they ain't about to take no chances. They ain't about to take no chances. Remember, they never took chances. When it was always a prophecy. This is the prophecy. That the 12 tribes of Israel is going to rise up. The 144,000 is going to rise up and rule the earth with Christ. That's the prophecy. As plain as I can make it in 10 seconds. 144,000 of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are going to rise up and rule the earth with Christ. Meaning that they're going to have to give up their power. So, but it's a contingency plan. It ain't just going to magically happen. We have to put in the work, and we have to keep the law, and we have to repent and come back to our God. You know what I'm saying? This is why they're called the synagogue of Satan. Because what is Satan? What the devil do? He deceives and he accuses you. So what they do is put all the evil in our face and accuse us. So now it's like this. Yeah, well, they sinning. You know what I'm saying? And they know the Most High, listen, the Most High, he hates sinners. It's written. He hates sinners. So if we sinning, he hates us. But the moment we stop and we start keeping the commandments, they have a problem. That's why, to answer your question, they want us to destroy ourselves for that. Because the scripture, let me get it real quick. I'm going to get it for you. It's the book of Judith. It's in the Apocrypha. It's the book of Judith, chapter 5, I think verse 11. Okay, boom. So this is the book of Judith. So at this time, just a little context, Israel was at war with another nation. The other nation was trying to fight against Israel, us, and he was asking a man in his army, what's up with these people? I don't know who these people is. Give me the report on these people. So the man gave up the report. Yo, these people serve the God of Israel. They're Israel, and their God is the God that created the heavens. And remember all that stuff that happened in Egypt? He did that to them. Remember when they got out of Egypt? All those nations that they destroyed after they got out of Egypt, that was him. So this is the conversation him and a governor is having. They at war. They got a siege right now, hiding in mountains. So this is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. So they know this. The nations know this. As long as we sinning against God, when they come up against us, they can overthrow us. That's why the Lord called them his belt, his whipping stick. Because they're going to come upon us, and if we sin, we lost. This is how you know we the children of Israel. How we fight against the pale man and lose. It's only one outcome. The Lord wasn't with us. The Lord wasn't with us. And even if you say we not the children of Israel, right? Knowing how strong and how superior we are to them, the only way we could lose a war to them if God was against us. It's the only way. So he said, let us go up and we shall overcome them. Watch this. So that's why, because they just want us to sin so we can destroy ourselves and they could win. Watch this though, this is the key. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. That's the white man. The white man knows that if we not sinning against God, meaning that's what it means when it says there be no iniquity in their nation. Meaning if we come up and say, yo, listen, we're gonna stop breaking God's law. This is why the battle we have in the ISUPK is the most important battle on the face of the earth. And mark my words, we are going to become some of the most important people on the face of the earth because of this battle. Because we're telling our people to stop breaking God's laws. And the world is telling our people, it's okay. Kill a nigga, shoot a nigga, twerk on a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, do all that. Whatever you want to do it to them. Just do it to the niggas. Not just the niggas, the Hispanics, the Native Americans. Just do it to them. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want. Jesus loves you. God loves you anyways. It don't matter. Do whatever you want. Because the Lord ain't dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? When the scriptures say he's wearing all white, he's in all white for a reason. Meaning he's pure. Ain't no sin in him. You know what I'm saying? And the only way we gonna get to the Father is if we in all white. And ain't no sin in us. You know what I'm saying? So that's the gist of it. Because if there ain't no iniquity in our nation, they're done for. They're done. Oh, slide. Yeah, I was sharing. It's the book of Judah. But I'm gonna come above that video. You know what I'm saying? It was Judas chapter 5, verse 20 and 21. Again, this is class, so when any scriptures is brought out, this is just my experience as an Israelite growing up. You want to learn as much as you can. So when scriptures is being brought out, videos being brought out, screen record, write them down. You got a phone now. You can put them in your notes. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want to do. You want to study these things. You don't want to just listen to them and then forget about it. You want to study these things, learn these things. So when the time comes, you can teach it. When the time comes, you can recall it. When the time comes, you can know it. Because Satan is going to come up against you. The moment you get this truth in you, Satan is going to come up against you. But Salakia, I'm glad for time, but I did want to go into the war between the house of Saul and the house of David. Because this is not, the white man knows our history. So he knows we hate each other. Remember what the brothers did to Joseph? The brothers sold their brother into slavery. You hate your brother. They sold him, and Joseph never did nothing to him. You want to know why they sold him into slavery? They sold Joseph into slavery because Jacob loved him more. Because he was the favorite. You know what I'm saying? So like we have a long history of hating each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why Christ had to come and say that. Yo, listen, y'all gotta love one another. This is the greatest commandment. This is how they're gonna know you my disciples, if y'all have love for one another. Not if you know those scriptures. Not if you could quote Genesis to Revelations. Not if you know the Apocrypha too. Not if you could read the Hebrew the best. No, they're gonna know you follow me when you start loving each other. So we naturally, and we just need one reason to hate each other. We need just, give me one. And I hate niggas forever. That's us. That's black people. So for time's sake, I'm gonna just read one scripture. But historically, we had many wars with each other. We had many discrepancies with each other. It was so bad, right? Boom. I was just reading this in Judges chapter 11, right? Judges chapter 11 is about Gilead. So Gilead fight for Israel. Gilead was a son of an Israelite, but his mom wasn't his rib, like his first rib. So they treated him like a bastard. So Gilead, he ended up being mighty though, but they was treating him wrong his whole life. They hated him because of that. They're like, yo, you one of the bastard sons. You don't get no inheritance. When our father died, you don't get nothing. So Gilead comes up. No, Israel ends up going to war with another nation, and the Moabites. Moabites and Israel going to war. So Israel begged Gilead to come fight with them. They're like, yo, we'll make you captain over Israel. Just fight for us. So he comes, he fights for him. Boom. He prayed to the Most High first. He said, the Most High, yo, I'll give you whatever I have if you give the Moabites into my hand. You know what I'm saying? You can read this too, Judges 11 and 12. So at the end, because Gilead's a Judite, at the end, we spank the Moabites, take them in captivity, or, conquer them. You know what happens in war. And then Ephraim and Manasseh get mad. Ephraim and Manasseh say, yo, listen, why would y'all fight the Moabites and not call us to fight too? Now, we're going to fight you. So Ephraim and Manasseh band together to fight against Judah. All because Judah didn't invite them to a war. So the moral of the story is this: we don't need no reason to hate each other. We just looking for one. Oh, why you ain't calling me the? Oh no, it's lit with you. This is our history. We have listen. Romans chapter 15 said this: whatever was written aforetime was written for our learning. So through faith and patience of the scriptures, we can have hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be reading these stories and learning how not to treat a brother. How to treat a brother. What should we not do? So I'm gonna just read this one scripture. I'm gonna leave it off here. I wanted to go into the whole thing. I probably will next class, make a part 2 or whatever. It's the book of 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. Now there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And one thing, Captain Azania, no matter what, it's always going to stick with me when it first came into truth. He said, listen, in a war, you know who the Lord is with by who wins. Hear that? It's very simple. In a war, you know who the Lord is with by who wins. Whoever wins it, the Lord is with. He wanted them to win. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord wanted David to go wax stronger and stronger and stronger. So Saul died. Remember, Saul died and David took the throne. But Saul kinsmen, the Benjamites wasn't jacking them. They felt like this. Saul was king, so now he's dead. His sons need to be king. His son was dead, so somebody nearer to him should be king. The throne should stay in Benjamin. That's how they felt. But the Lord had different plans. The throne was going to Judah. At Genesis chapter 49, the scepter shall not leave from his feet, and a lawgiver from between his feet. You know what I'm saying? So, all that was already written. But I say that to say this, man, gang culture is dead, man. Gang begging against your own is dead, man. I had a conversation with a brother that I know from the streets. And he was just like, yo, man, yeah, man, I reminiscing and stuff about the things I used to do. I say, yo, listen, all that wasn't nothing. Because I was doing most of that stuff on my own. Now I'm more dangerous. Because guess what? I know who the enemy is. And I know who the enemy is not. You know what I'm saying? I know who the enemy is, and I know who the enemy is not. So now I'm more dangerous because, brother, you not my enemy. You not. Despite our differences, despite whether I like you or you like me, you not my enemy. So no harm is going to go to you. No harm. What? No harm. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you know what I'm saying? That's the class for the night, the brotherhood class. You know what I'm saying? Because this is brotherhood. Learning to stop the fighting against each other, man. Stop looking at that brother like he your enemy, man. When the white man oppressing fire out you. The white man oppressing, listen, Captain Kazaka Iman out of DC, man. Barakatah I was shy for that brother. He got a clip, right, with a brother, an armed guard, he's a brother. He's sitting there acting like he wants to shoot the camp up. So he like, yo, if you want to do something, do it. If you want to do something, do it now. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he ain't gonna do nothing. And then he ultimately goes to say this. Black people like this never act like this to white people. They never act like this to white people. And that's absolutely true. I never see brother. Only time you see brothers get a little glory against the Edomites, and I'm gonna just keep it real, is in prison. That's it. That's the only place you want to see a little glory. You got them washing dishes, washing your drawers. You got them doing everything, all type of missions. You got them running and all that. They're basically slaves. In prison, the white man is basically slaves because it's so much filled with us. And even that, it backfired on it. Everything they try to do to us, it always backfired. They try to give us crack, give us cocaine. They end up on crack. They end up on cocaine. They try to give us heroin. They ended up on heroin. They try to give us drill music. They end up listening to it. They end up trying to imitate our culture. Everything they give us, it backfired on them. You know what I'm saying? They try to get us filled in the jails. Now they in the jails with us. What you think happening to your people in the jails with us? They got something called an Uber. You know what I'm saying? We go like this. Uber. And the Edomite pull up fast as hell, willing to do whatever you want him to do for a cigarette. Whatever you need him to do, make your bed, clean your drawers, clean your queue, mop your floors. He doing everything for a cigarette. But in the streets, you never hear black people talk to white people like that. Ever. Ever. You know what I'm saying? So it could be done. We see it every day. We see black people pulling out for white people. Start pulling out for your own. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ISUK. And with that, shalom. Yahweh Shabbat.